Who would think that they'd make a movie about a video game? Well, they've done that before, but Tetris. One of the more popular video games in the history of the world, 80s classic game Tetris, which I love and have been super addicted to at times, as I'm sure most people have been. Now, here's what happened. Quick video on That Guy Talks movies about the Tetris movie, which is currently on Apple TV. But I wanted to share the background on this and why I even got to see this movie. Last week, some point, Taron Egerton, who plays Hank Rogers in this movie. Hank Rogers is the guy who basically brought Tetris to the masses. He secured the licensing and the rights to distribute Tetris. So Taron Egerton had been doing the rounds on all the local TV shows. So we have the Good Morning America or Today show, whatever, playing in the background in the morning time. And I saw him, but I didn't pay attention to what he was promoting. A couple of days later, I think it was on Tamron Hall, which again, my wife, that's playing in the background. We kind of just walk around. But the gentleman that Taron Egerton plays, Hank Rogers, and then the Russian guy who invented the game, whatever his name, Pajatov, whatever his name is, the guy who invented or created Tetris, they were both, the real guys were on Tamron Hall. So when I saw the Tetris logo and I saw these two guys, I was like, well, what is this? Is Tetris having like an anniversary or something? It's the 50th anniversary, whatever it was. I wasn't really paying attention. Come to find out, they did a movie about it. And I was like, a movie about Tetris? Like, how's that going to play? I don't see that being a movie. But fast forward, last night, flipping through the telly, look at all the 100 different streaming things that I have, whatever, and I'm looking at Apple TV and I see Tetris, the movie. And I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this. I'm just curious. Because again, I'm a big fan of the game. So I wanted to see what this was about. I had a very limited expectation coming into it. I didn't think one way or the other. I hadn't seen a preview for. I didn't even see a trailer for this movie. So I was pleasantly surprised to see this. Now you're wondering, it's a movie about a video game. How could it possibly be interesting? Well, it's one of those scenarios where if you know something on the face, right? So like if you know a particular product or a video game, the name of something or some person in history, but you don't really know the backstory to it, that's basically what this is. It's the backstory that makes the movie. It's essentially about this guy who acquires video games and video game rights and distribution for his company, and he's putting everything on the line to basically get the rights for Tetris, the game. He kind of chases the guy down, but he goes to Russia. He finds the guy who created the actual game. Russia at that time, this is during the Cold War, so it's kind of like really sketchy being in Russia, and Russia's kind of being, the KGB is on him about taking a product or looking to license a product outside of their country to the rest of the world and profit off it, and capitalism versus, the communism and all that stuff is happening here. And that's essentially what the movie's about. It's about this guy getting these rights and he's in Russia, and it's like some precarious situations he finds himself in. And it's a industrial corporate espionage, not spy thriller kind of thing happening, but just like corporate greed, capitalism versus communism, and these underlying themes. And this game is at the heart of it, right? This guy puts his whole life on the line. He puts like his house on the line, and you'd be surprised. I was surprised. My wife was surprised that it was actually a compelling drama to watch, even if at times it's kind of silly. It starts off with a very light tone. It's got some humor to it. Taron Egerton is really good in this role. He's pretty much good in everything, except for the Elton John movie, which I don't know if that was all his fault. But, I like him. He does a great job here. And it's interesting. It's funny. It's got this video game sensibility to it, right? There are some moments where they have pixelated graphics to show you different characters and to show you different locations and time and where they're going in different countries and such. And it goes back and forth, back and forth. And essentially that's what the whole movie is. It's a back and forth between securing the rights for Tetris between Nintendo and a couple other companies, and who's going to shaft who in order to get the rights, and whose contract is legit and whose contract is not legit. It's kind of mind-numbing to keep up with it, but it is interesting and it does keep you engaged. So I wanted to share my thoughts on it in case you actually have Apple TV, in case you actually bought that bullshit by, what's his name? Will Smith, when he tried to get everyone to sign up for Emancipation. So if you still have Apple TV, then go ahead and watch it. Don't pass it by. It's one of those movies. That's why I did this video. I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this because I thought it was a great film. It's unfortunate. It's kind of a shame that it's not like a bigger film and it's in the theaters and such. And it's just, it's on Apple TV. A lot of people don't have Apple TV, so it's not going to make big news. So I'm using this opportunity to tell you, if you get a chance to watch Tetris, don't sleep. Is it as addictive as the actual game itself? Is it that compelling? Not so much. It has its moments that are kind of like, whatever, but you will be surprised by the fact that you watch it and you're like, okay, I want to see how this turns out. I'd like to know. I didn't know that about this game. I didn't know that that's what happened. I didn't know all the shit they go through. The variety between a console, arcade rights, computer rights, like all these different things, handheld rights. This is back when the Game Boy was first being launched by Nintendo. That takes part of the movie up as well. So you see some history here, and it's interesting. So if you have Apple TV, I recommend watching it. If you don't have Apple TV, you want to sign up for a free subscription just to watch this, it's not that serious. All right. But if you have Apple TV, you're one of those people, go ahead and watch it. Don't skip it. I highly recommend it. I thought it was good, even though it's got a few moments. And another note about that, regarding the drama and the entertainment here, it's a biopic, but still nonetheless, like most biopics, they have to embellish and they have to make certain things up and make them much more entertaining than they really were historically, right? And that is the case here. When I looked at the Wikipedia page for this, I found out that Hank Rogers and the Russian guy who invented it, Alexa, whatever his name is, they talked about the fact that the script, although they were involved in it, there were a lot of things that were out of their hands that went completely Hollywood, like the car chase. There's a car chase in this, which is actually a really good car chase. But the action that's here is not all part of the real history. They had to do it to keep the movie entertaining, and it works. So kudos to them. Kudos to the guy who invented it. Kudos to the guy who brought it to the world. And I think I'll go play Tetris now. Anyway, That Guy Talks Movies. That's it for me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you made it here and you're seeing this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell so you don't miss when I put up content. And for those of you who stick with me, who are already subscribed, I truly appreciate y'all. I will see you on the next That Guy Talks Movies. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. Peace.